Gadianton Robbers have been identified near St. George, Utah. No lives will be lost is a story told by Heber, Jarvis. Who are the Gadianton Robbers, and why do we hear so many references today? What did early church leaders have to say about the Gadianton Robbers? And why are we hearing a lot of mention of the Gadianton Robbers today? A lot of people are saying they seem to be taking over, whether that be government or local state government. If you've had experience with some of your government authorities, as I have, it seems there are some channels and doors you would expect to be open that are closed off. Not everybody can run for political office, for example. People have complaints about the court systems. Heber C. Kimball gave a discourse about where we might find some hints of early comments from church leaders and characteristics of the Gadianton Robbers. Quote, "We must try to overcome all unpleasant and unkind language towards each other and strive to have our intercourse such as angels will applaud. It is written, 'Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.' Some people do not believe that there are any devils. There are thousands of evil spirits that are just as ugly as evil can make them. The wicked die, and their spirits remain not far from where their tabernacles are. When I was in England 28 years ago next June, I saw more devils than there are persons here today. They came upon me with an intention to destroy me. They are the spirits of wicked men who, while in the flesh, were opposed to God and His purposes. I saw them with what we call the spiritual eyes, but what is in reality the natural eye. The atmosphere of many parts of these mountains is doubtless the abode of the spirits of Gadianton Robbers, whose spirits are as wicked as hell, and who would kill Jesus Christ and every apostle and righteous person that ever lived if they had the power. It is by the influence of such wicked spirits that men and women are all of the time tempted to tell little lies, to steal a little, to take advantage of their neighbor a little, and they tell us there is no harm in it. It is by the influence and power of evil spirits that the minds of men are prejudiced against each other, until they are led to do each other an injury, and sometimes to kill each other. We are the sons and daughters of God if we are faithful and honor our calling, and He has respect unto one as much as unto another. In a revelation given to Joseph Smith, it is written, and again I say unto you, let every man esteem his brother as himself. For what man among you, having 12 sons, and is no respecter of them, and they serve him obediently, and he saith unto the one, Be thou clothed in robes, and sit thou here, and to the other, Be thou clothed in rags, and sit thou there, and looketh upon his sons, and saith, I am just? The following story is from a book called Temples of the Most High by N.B. Lundwall. No lives will be lost. The statement of facts that I here relate came under my own observation and are my own experiences and have the same force and effect as though they were notarized under seal. I was born on the 14th day of October, 1860, in Salt Lake City, Utah. My parents' names were my father, George Jarvis, and my mother, Ann Pryor Jarvis. I was in St. George, Utah, at the time of the dedication of the site for the temple and saw President Brigham Young take the first shovelful of dirt from the foundation. And he stated at the time, quote, that there would not be any persons who would lose their lives on any of the works on this temple. I lived to see this prediction fulfilled, as I saw many persons hurt, but none of them died. I was within 3 or 4 feet of him when he made this statement. One man by the name of John Burt fell from the top of the temple. He was plastering with my brother, George Jarvis, who had stepped off the plank. John Burt jumped from the fire wall onto the scaffold about 3 or 4 feet below, and the plank broke, and he went right on through, falling to the ground of some 84 feet, and fell on the scattered rock, dirt, etc., which was on the ground. The workmen rushed to him. I was on a horse not far away and came up to him also. He was conscious and was calling for his mother. In 10 days he was walking around the streets of St. George and returned to his work later on, so that the fall did not disable him nor prevent him from continuing the work on the temple. I knew of another man who fell from the top of the temple, also Thomas Crane. Will Thane fell 35 feet off the wall, alighting across a large Malachi rock on his side. But he was not killed. Pete Granger had the large frame from which the huge hammer worked, and which weighed many hundreds of pounds, and which was 35 feet high, fall on him. George Lang had a huge rock on his wagon which weighed 8,000 pounds and was driving a team of mules. His mules ran away with his rock on the wagon. He fell from the wagon, and his ear was torn from his head. Yet none of these men were killed, but continued their labors on the temple. Upon one occasion, President Brigham Young was in the tabernacle at St. George and was speaking on the spirit world. He stated that it was not far from us, and if the veil could be taken from our eyes, there wouldn't be either a man, woman, or child who would dare go out of, quote, this tabernacle, as the spirits of the Gadianton Robbers were so thick out there. This is where they lived in these mountains, said he. At the dedication of the temple, as they had just left from dedicating the ceiling rooms upstairs and were about to close the services, Brigham Young, having rheumatism, was brought to the stand, and in speaking near the priesthood stand of the elders, he struck the stand with his knotted cane and said, "There are men present that have no more right here than the devils from hell." My brother, George Jarvis, was close to the two men he pointed to, and he said they fluttered like wounded ducks. I was not more than 15 feet from President Young, and saw and heard everything, and know whereof I speak. This statement is written and signed at Mesa, Arizona, this first day of April, 1940. Signed, Heber Jarvis. This concludes this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.